Moving on to another game, Battle of the Bees, Bengals at Bears, I believe.
Yeah, so that's another one of mine. Yeah, so a nice little introduction there, Brad. One thing I think we've got to address right now, already the hype of the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm afraid, has lasted just 1 week. We were all getting very excited about the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow because of the spectacular way they beat the Minnesota Vikings week 1 at home. And although this game was only separated by a field goal, it was same old story with the Bengals. The mistakes were just ridiculous. This one finished 2017 to the Bears in the end. It was two teams that are pretty much evenly matched. And really, the first 3 quarters, it was hardly featured. Literally nothing happened. The only highlight, which isn't a highlight unless you are a dedicated Justin Fields fan already, was, of course, the injury to Andy Dalton after a rush play. Looked like he'd done something bad to his knee. But the game just came to life, and it was almost like neither team. It was like a hot potato, the football. It was like, no, you win. No, you win. It was bizarre. And, of course, Joe Burrow, who had a very good comeback performance week 1 against Minnesota, I thought he outperformed Kirk Cousins with his decision-making. But this week, the decision-making was bizarre. Throwing 3 interceptions in the last period of the game is absolutely shocking. He was trying to compete with Zach Wilson with the worst throws of week 2. One of them, of course, included a pick six to Raekwon Smith. The Bears took advantage and kept punishing these mistakes with the run game combining of Justin Fields and Montgomery, and they went 20-3 up in the end. And that pretty much sealed the game because the Bengals just ran out of time in the end. Bear in mind, this is all literally happening towards the end of the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter, so there was just simply no time in the end. And when the Bengals were getting their plays right, it was really pleasing on the eye to watch. They looked much better team than the Chicago Bears. But the touchdowns that Burrow found to, of course, Jamar Chase, and Higgins just simply wasn't enough. And I think the Bengals would be absolutely kicking themselves. They should be 2-0, great start of the season, carry on the hype. But if a combination of Burrow throwing and the bad decision making that your coaching staff are making, you're just going to carry on being a team that's going to be right at the bottom of that AFC North, even when you're playing well, because you cannot turn the ball over 3-4 times late on in games. It was bizarre in the end. I bet the Bears, I don't know you, Brad, probably just couldn't believe their luck.
Yeah, I think, well, in terms of the neutral fans out there, couldn't believe their luck. We're going to see a promising rookie quarterback now with the Dalton injury, and he proved to put on a point. He's clearly shown his qualities from college football days. And the Bears took a commanding lead in the end, and it was just too little, too late from the Bengals, despite the scoreline being that close. It just doesn't tell the story of the game.
No,
and we all hyped up Burrow last week. Obviously, good to see him back. But I think the Bengals are one of them teams again where they'll pick up maybe 1-2 wins on the road and sort of be solid-ish at home. I think the AFC North is another one of them divisions that anyone can sort of make it when they perform on their day. And unfortunately for the Bengals, it wasn't their day this week.
Yeah, exactly. And they're another team that I think would have expected to lose to the Minnesota Vikings, because if we look at the Vikings offense in particular, it's more star-studded than the Bengals one. And they probably would have backed themselves to beat the Bears, especially with a lot of the teammates knowing Andy Dalton being, of course, former Bengals quarterback. Of course, his injury changed things. And Justin Fields, as I say, the passing game will get better because, of course, he did get intercepted as well. But it's in terms of ball retention and just being solid enough in the key moments, they've done what they had to do. They relied on Bengals' mistakes, and where it's via Khalil Mack, they put the pressure on, and it worked in the end. So it was an important home win for Chicago after a pretty ordinary display against the Los Angeles Rams.
Definitely.